This was one of the most harrowing articles that I read last week. ChatGPT is actually destroying relationships. So, what happened? Well, what happened is plenty of people are using ChatGPT as a substitute for human interaction, problem solving, and mental health assistance, which leads to couples who already have their relationships in the brink of collapse spectacularly crash even more. The article opens with a wife asking ChatGPT to respond to her son, who told them not to get divorced. A lesbian couple asked ChatGPT to browbeat her partner, now ex-partner, all in front of their children. One husband read the messages that his wife said to ChatGPT, and he genuinely questioned whether his wife had joined the cult. Even the so-called godfather of AI conceded that his girlfriend broke up with him using ChatGPT. That is crazy. That is Mark Zuckerberg constantly refreshing his ex-girlfriend's Facebook page after he sent a friend request vibe. Some chats even go as far as physical abuse, like a woman who attacked her husband after he questioned her problematic ChatGPT usage and the damage that it caused to the family. Wow, way to prove his point, right? There's also another case where a bipolar wife started using ChatGPT, and it spiraled out of control. From what I read, most of the relationships seemed to be on edge even before the intervention of AI. Even the ones that were stable, they have underlying mental issues. So these couples were already troubled to begin with, and AI just merely sealed their fate. The cherry on top. But cherry is a positive metaphor, so I say it's more like the nail to their coffins. I also noticed that none of the AI users were using AI to try to fix or bridge relationships. At best, they're used as cheap and quick shortcuts to fix problems that require a more human touch. At worst, a yes man that validates and confirms all the horrible thoughts one has that antagonizes the partner and makes the relationship worse. In the right hands, AI is a powerful tool that can genuinely help people like you to learn and evolve in ways that you're not going to be able to do traditionally. In the wrong hands, it will disconnect you from reality and give you psychosis, enough to ruin relationships and cause damage to not only yourself, but also the people around you. There are many times when I discuss the wrong use of AI, but there are only a few times where I discuss the right usage of AI that can be helpful to certain people. So let me share one of the use cases of AI that I really like. If you're in the market for something, but you are confronted with too many options, which one should you pick? This is where AI can actually be really helpful. For example, I want to find an office keyboard that is cheap, comfortable, and silent to type in so that I don't disturb my colleagues with my incredibly fast and aggressive typing. I wrote all the cheap office keyboards that are available in my local store, and then I asked the AI to compare all of them, specifically Grok, the standalone Grok, not the one that's on Twitter X. The AI reveals that the HP 150 or the Dell KB216 are the best silent and comfortable office keyboards. I got the HP 150, and it's true. It is comfortable, it is silent, and I do recommend it if you want a silent keyboard for the office. Here are the specs of two Lenovo laptops. One has an AMD Athlon, one has an Intel Core i3. Which one is better for your money or your needs? Ask the AI to compare between the two. Make sure that they've got the right models, and the AI will tell you the information that you need. It doesn't give you all the information from a typical laptop review, like the typing experience, the build quality, or the performance benchmarks, but there is enough information based on the specs alone for most people to make a purchasing decision. I absolutely love KZIEMs, but they have way too many of them. Just look at these names. I want you to distinguish between these KZIEMs. There's also QKZ, CCA, TRN. Good lord, so many options. Which one is the best for me? You can look up individual models online and find the reviews for them, or if you want a quick summary, just write all the models that are in your store and ask the AI to compare each product. AI can make mistakes, and they don't always provide all the information, but in terms of comparing products and finding specific information about certain products, I think AI is good enough. It's at least a good starting point for people to know the product that they're going to buy. It's good enough to give you the most surface level information and make you think of what to ask next. If you're still not sure, you can also ask multiple AI chats and see what their answers are. I hope this can help you all in understanding the products that you're going to buy and making your next purchase decision. Let's go back to a negative AI hoopla. This time, it involves YouTube. There are plenty of YouTubers that talk about how the views on their YouTube channel are down, and no one knows the reason why, or at least for a while. That is until a couple of sources confirmed that it's because viewers were watching YouTube videos using ad blockers. Those views don't count. And apparently, the number of ad block users is significant enough to cause a low view count. All these things definitely hurt a lot of content creators who make a living off this platform. But not me. I'm not hurt by this because I have always been hurt by YouTube's algorithms. This is nothing new for this zombie channel. Thankfully, YouTube isn't my primary source of income. It is one of my sources of income, but it is definitely a primary one for a lot of people. And thanks to YouTube's crusade towards ad blockers, the content creators are the ones most impacted. Are there any official statements in response to this sudden new change? So far, no. But here's Google Gemini's VO3 AI editors that you can use on YouTube Shorts. Now you can generate horrific AI monstrosities and flood the platform with even more garbage. Again, let's counter this negative AI usage coverage with positive AI usage that I think a lot of you guys will benefit from. One of the things that I absolutely adore AI for is their ability to translate what I want into a proper programming language script. And this applies to all programming languages, including whatever you call spreadsheet formulas are. I made a Python file that renames screenshots and changes them into something that I wanted, and I ran it with a bat file. To generate the Python file, I must be very specific with my prompt. It basically goes like this, and the result is the Python file, but I also have to generate the bat file so that I can just simply run that to execute the command. The problem with using AI for translating actions to programming languages is that it rarely works the first time around. If it doesn't work, you must specify what the problem is so that the AI can solve the problem, or you solve the problem. There was one time when I asked an AI to create a spreadsheet formula, but it didn't work. And the reason is because the original data had the numbers rounded incorrectly, and the AI couldn't figure out what was wrong because the original data was wrong. So while AI can be used as a translator for your programming languages to make things easier, you still need to have some clue on what you're doing. It's not a replacement tool to do the programming work for you, but it is a tool to help you write parts of it so that you can assemble them all yourself to get the complete picture. I am loving this back and forth switch of hooplas with technology helping people to technology corrupting a whole nation. And it is my beloved nation, Indonesia. Back in 2019, the Indonesian government has a brilliant idea. Hey, let's evolve our education landscape by turning them digital. And we do that by giving away Chromebooks to students and faculties that need them. I mean, if the US, UK, and Japan did it, so can we, right? And thus, the government gave away 1.2 million Chromebooks to all sorts of schools that need them to evolve their digital education. Here's the problem, and this is a very big one. Indonesia's digital infrastructure is nowhere near as good as those countries. Chromebook is mostly cloud-based. If you want to use Chromebooks, you need good and stable internet. And we do not have good and stable internet. It would be one thing to distribute Chromebooks in areas that have a good digital infrastructure, but the government distributes them to underdeveloped and remote areas, places where there are little to no internet connection. Let me repeat that. They are distributing Chromebooks, a mostly cloud-based device, to places that can barely access the cloud, if at all. Some of them don't even have electricity. They are straight up distributing e-waste. And even if these underdeveloped and remote areas have the fastest and most stable internet connections, the teachers have absolutely no idea how to use them. They were barely familiar with Windows PCs, let alone Chrome OS. How are you going to teach students about things you don't know how to use yourself? And then, in the glorious year of 2025, the current year, this whole procurement is under heavy scrutiny by the law. That's right, the law is now involved. There were alleged corruptions, collusions between vendors, technical reports manipulated, and suspects were named in an investigation that is still ongoing to this day. There's an estimated financial loss of 1.98 trillion or $122 million. The Indonesian government wants to go digital, but they they have no idea how to go digital. So they just look at whatever trends that are happening in developed countries and say, yeah, let's follow that. How about you improve broadband internet speed and coverage first before you even think of handing out any more cloud-based devices? Well, at least smart TVs don't always require the internet. And that's all for the video today. Here's a cat. Huge thanks to all the wonderful sponsors this week. You're all fantastic. Don't forget to check out my previous videos here. Click the like button, comment, subscribe, join the YouTube membership, leave some tips, just $1 down below. And thanks for watching.